Hi, this is Kirby Doc, and you're listening to Habs Lunch on TSN 690.
Plays it right back around. Corralled by Neighbors out through center. Blues have some space as a shot goes in. Off the glove of Montembeault and clean into the net.
Welcome into Habs Lunch, Campbell versus Gallo. Last night, the Canadiens fall to the St. Louis Blues. They continue their road trip, Philadelphia, Carolina, Florida, as they hang on to the final wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. Mitch, the big question, we've been asking it all week long, how are the Canadiens going to deal with the goaltending? But is Marty St. Louis leaning on Sam Montembeault too much right now? Is he playing too much? That's our hot topic of the day on Campbell versus Gallo. It's Habs Lunch.
Well, I'm going to start by saying there are certain things that we don't know, and I am willing to admit that. There are stats that the team looks at that we don't know about. There is the goalie coach that is going to be involved here, and we don't know about those conversations.
The pre-scouting.
All of it. And I don't know how much faith or what the team looks at when they see Dobesh in nets right now. I'm not saying it's a bad view of him, but clearly Martin St. Louis feels he has a better chance to win with Sam Montembeault, and there's a reason for that. So with all that stuff that we don't know, which I think factors in here to the decision-making, I can give you my opinion from what I see from the outside looking in. I'm somebody who attends the home games. I'm somebody who talks on the radio for 4 hours a day. The road games I watch from my couch. I pay attention to every minute of Montreal Canadiens hockey, but I don't have some of the information that they have. But from the outside looking in, Campbell, the question being, are they playing Montembeault too much? I'm going to answer no. I'm going to answer no to that question. And it's easy to look at it today, coming off 3 straight losses with Montembeault in net for all 3, and suggest that they are playing him too much. I see some flaws in Dobesh's game right now, and I don't know how much confidence I would have in him getting the Canadiens 2 points. But I think, really, I'm going to look at 3 things. Number 1, it comes down to the old Al Davis saying, when he was owner of the Oakland Raiders during those great years for the Oakland Raiders. Just win, baby. And Montembeault, up until the last 3, he was winning. There was no goalie in the league winning more games than Sam Montembeault. They were putting him between the pipes night in and night out, and they were winning those games. So considering the fact that they win, I don't think they're playing him too much. Number 2, do you believe that Sam Montembeault is a number 1 goaltender in the National Hockey League? And if the answer is yes, which for me I think it is, I can look at the top 15 goalies in the league as far as games played and look at Sam Montembeault. Sam Montembeault has played 53 games. The goalie ranked 15th in that category has played 48. That's only 5 more games over the course of the entire season.
Yeah, but I think this is my
Saros
issue.
has played 1 more game. Ottinger's played only 2 less games. Pekka Luukkonen has played 2 less games. Swayman's played 2 less games. Binnington, who we saw last night, did he look tired? He's only played 3 less games than Sam Montembeault has. So when I look around the league and what teams are doing, I mean, yes, he's played a little bit more than some of those other guys, but that's because the Canadiens are so hard-pressed for points right now.
Yeah, okay, so there's 12 games left.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see him playing upwards of 64, 65 games? Like, if he needs to play, they're going to play him. And it does seem that Marty St. Louis, if he needs 2 points, he's going to lean on Marty St. Louis, going to lean on Sam Montembeault. And I'm curious with the fact that he pulled him in the third period. Maybe he should have pulled him at the intermission, but he pulled him in the third period. He was thinking, well, if I rest him for these 10 minutes, I can start him on Thursday and put him into a back-to-back, which may not be the right decision. At some point, you have to trust Jakub Dobesh. There are some back-to-backs coming up. But this is all new territory for Sam Montembeault. When did Sam Montembeault really start to make strides? It was about 1.5 years ago, but he wasn't in a number 1 situation. Jake Allen was around. The only time he turned into a number 1 situation was when Allen got traded at the deadline last year. And then the Canadiens were already out of it. They were selling off pieces. And down the stretch, Primo and Montembeault, they went with Montembeault as the number 1, but it was a regular rotation, almost like 2 games, 1 game, 3 games, 1 game, like a starter. Now they're going to starter plus situation for Sam Montembeault. He's never played this much. He's never started this much. He's never played more than half a season. He's right on the brink of establishing himself as a starter. And like you said, you could ask that question. Mitch, you and I can say yes, but I know at 11,690, there are people typing in right now, no, he's not a starter, because that means it's still up for debate. It may be leaning more one way than another. He did get named to Team Canada, even though he didn't play. But that's all besides the point. That's all argumentative. But for the Canadians, the question is, does Marty St. Louis believe he's the starter? The answer there is yes.
Yeah, 100%.
Is he the number one? Yes, 100%. So this is where this angle with the head coach not having the experience in these situations. Marty St. Louis has never coached when wins have mattered until now. He's never coached until wins have mattered until now. And you can see he's leaning on Sam Montembeault. I'm watching the game against the Blues. He looked tired. I'm watching the game against Colorado. He looked tired. At some point, you got to read the room, I think. So my answer is yes, he is playing too much. And you may not, for whatever reasons, believe that Dobesh is the guy right now, but that's up to the team. That's up to team defense. That's up to understanding the situation. Rest him to make him better. With 12 games left, I understand he's probably going to play 10 of them. But don't push the envelope.
I think the other thing when you talk about, and you're right, he's never been in this situation. He's never played this many games. Can't argue with that. Well, what I'll tell you is the backup goaltender, Jakub Dobesh, like you said, this is new for Sam Montembeault. Playing in the NHL is new for Jakub Dobesh.
Yes.
And playing in games that mean something for a team trying to make the playoffs is something he's never done. So while it might be a new experience for Sam Montembeault, same goes for the other guy, who is the backup, who would get the net if Montembeault plays a little bit less. The other thing about the whole argument is he playing too much, Campbell. It's not like we're watching Martin St. Louis play Sam Montembeault on back-to-back nights. The schedule's been pretty spread out. It hasn't been that heavy. And we can look at him looking tired. You know, maybe. I hated the last goal. I hated the 5th goal last night that went through his glove. Can't tell me that was a good goal. And I didn't think he looked sharp against Colorado, and I thought he was okay against the Islanders, but not great, and I thought he wasn't that good against Ottawa. Hasn't been a good stretch for Sam Montembeault. Only he can tell you if it's actual fatigue. That I have no idea. Or if maybe it's just, he's stumbling a little bit right now. But last night, if we want to take last night, because we're talking about it today after a game last night.
Yep.
In the first period, for the first 15 minutes, I thought the Canadians were hemmed into their own zone, and Sam Montembeault made a lot of terrific saves.
Yeah, and then he got tired.
If Montreal does something there, but you could say he got tired. I'll tell you, Laine looked tired, and Waugh looked tired, and Newhook looked tired, and Matheson looked tired. Everybody looked tired then.
But the point is, with Montembeault already in my mind, and this is an outside observation, so I'm not in that conversation, when I'm watching a goalie sometimes go for a puck, it touches his glove, doesn't go in, doesn't track the puck. It's just a lot of hockey. So my point is, even prior to this, we could talk about going forward, but prior to this, he's been leaning on Sam Montembeault. So when the team is tired, you want your goalie to be fresh.
I mean, the Canadians were outshot by like 15 last night. Yeah. I really believe that if you put Dobesh in goal instead of Sam Montembeault, the outcome is no different.
Okay, but I get that. But the difference could have been, let's just say Dobesh played against Colorado. Whatever the result would have been in that game. Montembeault gets peppered in the first period from the Blues, but because he's rested, he's able to fight through that for the rest of the game and keep the Canadians within striking range in the third period for his tired group to have some sort of miracle, whereas he just was tired like everybody else. That's the difference. I'm not saying if he started, I'm saying if it was
Campbell,
done before.
If that's the case, which I'm not saying you're wrong, it's a hypothetical, though we have no idea what the answer is to that question that you're asking. But if the answer is yes, if he is tired, if he would have played better last night had he rested in one of the games last week, then we have to start reevaluating if Sam Montembeault is a starting goalie. Because if you can't play him every game that isn't a back-to-back, he's not a starting goalie. He's a 1B, and not even a 1A.
Well, that's the question because he's never played this much.
And I'm telling you, the other goalies who are starting goalies in the league, they play this much.
514-790-1690. Is Sam Montembeault playing too much?